जय।
मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की
जय।
नवदीप मायापुर धाम की
जय।
गंगा माई की
जय।
यमुना माई की
जय।
भक्ति देवी की
जय।
तुलसी महारानी की
जय।
हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय।
जय।
समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय।
जय।
और प्रेमानंदे
हरे कृष्ण।
all glories to assembled devotees.
हरे कृष्ण।
All glories to assembled devotees.
हरे कृष्ण।
All glories to assembled devotees.
हरे कृष्ण।
All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga.
हरे
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Gurudev.
हरे हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, welcome all to the morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. So, we'll start. We are on Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 5. And today we'll be reading verse number 5. So, yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Yeah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Hare Krishna. So I will recite the verse and then few devotees can volunteer after that. So Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 5, verse number 5. करोति कर्माणि कृतावतारो यान्यात्मतन्त्रो भगवांस्त्रयधिषा यथा ससर्जाग्र इदं निराहा संस्थाप्य वृत्तिं जगतो विधत्ते करोति कर्माणि कृतावतारो यान्यात्मतन्त्रो भगवांस्त्रयधिषा यथा ससर्जाग्र इदं निरीहः संस्थाप्य वृत्तिं जगतो विधत्ते करोति कर्माणि कृतावतारो यान्यात्मतन्त्रो भगवांस्त्रयधिषा यथा ससर्जाग्र इदं निरीह संस्थाप्य वृत्तिं जगतो विधत्ते. Hare Krishna. If any devotees would like to recite.
करोति कर्माणि कृतावतारो यान्यात्मतन्त्रो भगवान् स्त्रियाधीशा यथा ससर्जाग्र इदं निरीह संस्थाप्य वृत्तिं जगतो विधत्ते.
Thank you, Prabhu.
करोति कर्माणि कृतावतारो यन्यात्मतन्त्रो भगवांस्त्रयादिशा यथा ससर्गा यथा ससर्जाग्र इदं निरीहः संस्थाप्य वृत्तिं जगतो विदत्ते। हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you, Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण।
Hare
करोति कर्माणि कृतावतारो यानि आत्मा तन्त्रो भगवान् त्रयादिशा यथा शशर्जग्रौ इदं निरीह समस्थाया वृत्तिं जगतो विधाते। हरे कृष्ण।
Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी।
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
करोति कर्माणि कृतावतारो यान्या आत्मा तन्त्रो भगवांस्त्रयादिशाः यथा ससर्जाग्रहितं निरीहाः संस्थाप्य वृत्तिं जगतो विदत्ते।
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So we'll move to the synonyms. Karoti does them. Karmani transcendental activities. Krita by accepting. Avataraha incarnations. Yani all those. Atmatantraha self-dependent. Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. Tri Adhisha, the Lord of the three worlds. Yatha, as much as. Sasraja, created. Agre, at first. Idam, this cosmic manifestation. Niriha, although desireless. Samsthapya, by establishing. Vrittim, means of livelihood. Jagatah, of the universes. Vidhatte, as he regulates. Translation: O great sage, kindly narrate how the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the independent, desireless Lord of the three worlds and the controller of all energies, accept incarnations and create the cosmic manifestation with perfectly arranged regulative principles for its maintenance. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Krishna is the original personality of Godhead from whom the three creative incarnations, namely the Purusha avatars, Karnan Vashai Vishnu, Garbho Dakshai Vishnu, Shiro Dakshai Vishnu, expand. The whole material creation is conducted by the three Purushas in successive stages under the external energy of the Lord, and thus material nature is controlled by him. Thinking material nature to be independent is like seeking milk from nipple-like bags on the neck of the goat. The Lord is independent and desireless. He does not create the world for his own satisfaction, as we create our household affairs to fulfill our material desires. Actually, the material world is created for the illusory enjoyment of the conditioned souls, who have been against the transcendental service of the Lord since time immemorial. But the material universes, sorry, but the material universes are full in themselves. There is no scarcity for maintain. There is no scarcity for maintenance in the material world. Because of their poor fund of knowledge, the materialists are disturbed when there is an apparent increase of the population on the earth. Whenever there is a living being on the earth, however, his subsistence is immediately arranged by the Lord. The other species of living entities who far outnumber human society are never disturbed for maintenance. They are never seen dying of starvation. It is only human society that is disturbed about the food situation, and to cover up the real fact of administrative mismanagement, takes shelter in the plea that the population is excessively increasing. If there is any scarcity in the world, it is the scarcity of God consciousness. Otherwise, by the grace of the Lord, there is no scarcity of anything. Hare Krishna. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So welcome all devotees this morning for Srimad Bhagavatam class. Before starting with our discussion on this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, I would like to seek blessings from all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis so that I can repeat whatever our seniors, our acharyas have said. Just following their footsteps, I would like to say some points that I have read in this purport given by Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So here in this verse, what is going on, we'll see little bit background, we'll see so that we can just come to this verse. So we have already covered the discussion, the talk between Vidura and Uddhava in the previous chapter. Vidura was on the pilgrimage. He came out from the Hastinapur being insulted, and he met Uddhava, and then he asked something, and Uddhava told him about the Lord's pastimes in Vrindavan, outside Vrindavan, and how the Yadus annihilated, how Lord wound up his pastime on this planet. After that, Vidura wanted to take more knowledge from Uddhava, but Uddhava, instead of himself giving the knowledge and acting as a spiritual master, sent Vidura to Maitreya Muni. All these, Vidura, Maitreya, and Uddhava, they are not ordinary personalities. Vidura himself is an incarnation. He is a Yamraj. He was cursed by Manduka Muni, and he has to spend some 100 years as a Shudra, being cursed by Manduka Muni, and then he will go back to his position as Yamaraj, who is one of the 12 Mahajans. So Vidura is not an ordinary personality. Uddhava, we read, he's a Nitya Siddha devotee, Bhakta, he's a pure devotee of Krishna. And who is Maitreya Muni? Maitreya Muni is also not an ordinary personality. He is one of the disciples of Parashar Muni. Who is Parashar Muni? He is the father of Vyasadeva. Prabhupada mentioned all these details in Bhagavatam, that who is Parashar Muni. He is one of the disciple of Maitreya Muni. He is one of the disciple of Parashar Muni, and Parashar Muni is the father of Vyasadeva. So all of the Uddhava, Vidura, Maitreya Muni, they're not ordinary personalities. So when Vidura was asking like Uddhava for more knowledge, what did Uddhava do? He sent him to Maitreya Muni. Why? We read in detail, like in the previous chapter, like so there were verses. Why Vidura was sent by Uddhava to Maitreya Muni? Because Vidura was very older to Uddhava, like a fatherly image. And since Maitreya Muni was also nearby, and Maitreya Muni was also older, so he said rather a senior person should give the knowledge, rather me taking the place of spiritual master and giving knowledge to Vidura. So this principle was mentioned is Maryada Vyatikrama. It should be very carefully observed by all of devotees, that how we should be very careful. When some senior devotee is present, we should be very careful how we have to deal. So here we see Uddhava sent Vidura to Maitreya Muni. And where he went? In Haridwar. He reached Haridwar on the instruction of Uddhava. So when he reached Haridwar, he met Maitreya Muni there, and he started asking some questions to Maitreya Muni. So that is the beginning of this 5th chapter. The first 9 verses in this chapter are regarding the inquiries by Vidura to Maitreya Muni. So we already covered the second verse, like where Vidura is asking how to live for real happiness, because in this material world there is no real happiness. It's called illusory happiness, because we feel we are happy, next moment we become dissatisfied. Living entities are doing so many fruitive activities. What is fruitive activity? The activities which are done to get some fruit. And the fruit is, all of us want happiness. Every day we are doing some activity, we think we could become happy, but it ends up in suffering. So that's why Vidura is asking how to live for real happiness. And in the fourth verse, she asked, give me the instructions on the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So up to till fourth verse, these two things are covered. And now today's verse, which is the fifth verse, where Vidura is asking Lord, the Maitreya Muni, about the Purusha avatar. Lord has many avatars, incarnations, innumerable incarnations. There is no number, we cannot count. We have some number, we have some names mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, but that is not the end. Krishna has unlimited incarnations. And incarnation doesn't mean incarnation means to descend. So when Krishna takes an incarnation, it doesn't mean that he is not there in the spiritual world. For us conditioned soul, if I am at one place, I am not at other place. I cannot be at two places at same time. If I'm sitting here, I cannot be at the other place. But for Lord, he can be at multiple places at same time doing different things. He can be in his own spiritual abode, Golok Vrindavan. He can be performing some leelas in this material world. And not in this material, but there are innumerable material universes. So the Lord has different incarnations. And here, particularly, it is said, Treya Dishaha, the Lord of three Purushas. So here, particularly in this verse, the Vidura is mentioning about the Purush avatars. So there in the scriptures, the six kind of avatars broadly are categorized. There can be more, but six categories we see. We have Purusha avatars, like we are seeing here, Vidura is mentioning. Then we have Leela avatar. Then we have Guna avatar. We have Manvantara avatar. We have Yuga avatar, and we have Shaktya Avesha avatar. So these are six categories of avatars mentioned. But is it the end? No. Lord descends in this material world in the form of holy name. That is a Nam avatar. Krishna comes in the form of Archa Vigraha. That is the Archa avatar. So Krishna can come in any form, in innumerable incarnation. But these were the six broad categories which were mentioned in the scriptures. And here in this particular verse, which incarnation has been talked about? The Purush avatar. So there are three Purush avatars. So how they're coming? How they're coming is that we have Supreme Lord Krishna as a Swayamrup Bhagwan, and from him the first expansion is Lord Balaram. From Lord Balaram, there is the first Chaturvyuh that is called Adi Chaturvyuh, the first Chaturvyuh. And that is Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Anirudh. And then there is another Chaturvyuh that comes, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Anirudh, and there is Mahasankarshan, and then from that there are three Vishnus. For what purpose they are there? For the purpose of creation. For the purpose of creation. There might be some people who are thinking, oh, Lord Brahma is the creator. But Lord Brahma is the secondary creator, who is just doing creation from the ingredients which are given to him by the Lord. So Mahavishnu is there, which is the first Purusha avatar, who is lying down on the Karana ocean. And how he creates, it will be coming in detail in this chapter later also, but we'll just take a little glimpse here at how Mahavishnu creates. Mahavishnu creates by glancing on the sum total of material energy. Without the intervention, without the interference of the Lord, the material energy cannot do anything. In this purport also, we have read that it is written here, thinking material nature to be independent is like seeking milk from the nipple-like bags on the neck of the goat. Material, like on the goat, there's some nipple-like bags, and if someone thinks we can get milk out of it, is it possible? No. Same way, material nature independently cannot do anything without the interference of the Lord. So the Lord, Mahavishnu, glances, looks. Lord's glance is also not like our glance. In Srimad Bhagavatam, we have read, like in Krishna Leela, when the cowherd boys and cowherd cows were almost dead because of the poisonous effect of the Yamuna water being like becoming poisonous by the Kaliya, Krishna just glanced at them and they all became fully revived. They revived their consciousness and they become totally active. So Krishna's glance is not an ordinary glance. So Krishna glances on the sum total of material energy and infuses it with what? Kala, the time factor, karma and swabhav of all jivas. And when he infuses that, this material nature is agitated and things starts happening. Even though all the ingredients were there, but they're just lying like that. I was just hearing one example which I relate too much because it's related to the cooking. Yeah. So we might have a container like a pan, and if I put all the vegetables in there, all the spices in there, everything is present in there. All the good ingredients are present in the pan. But until I start the fire, if the flame is not on, nothing will happen. They will be just lying like that. Nothing will happen. I can leave them for hundreds, thousands, millions of years, but they will be just, will they cook by themselves? No, nothing will happen until and unless the flame turns on. So here, when the flame turns on, the vegetable and the other things will start cooking and the things will process further. So here also we see the ingredients are there, but they are just lying. Nothing is happening. But when Lord glanced, the things become active. The material nature became agitated. And then from that agitation, there is a further process that Mahatattva is there, and we get the 24 elements are separated, and the Lord Mahavishnu then expand himself in all the universes which are coming from his bodily pores as Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and from Garbhodakshay Vishnu, from his navel, there is a stem come out, and on the top of the stem, there is a lotus flower where Lord Brahma is sitting. And on the stem, there are 14 planetary systems. So this happens, and then Garbhodakshay Vishnu expands further as Kshirodakshay Vishnu in each universe, and in each atom, in each living entity, as Kshirodakshay Vishnu, Paramatma sitting in our heart. And he also lies on a Shweta which is in this material world. Shweta he's lying there. So he's present here in our hearts, in each and every living entity, as well as on the Shir Sagar on Shweta So these three Purushavatars are mentioned here through which Lord does creation. So it is like we might have a CEO of the company, but does he do all work by himself? He arranges. He has different people under him, managers and different officers who work for him. But he is the main person. Everything is coming from him. In the first line of the purport, Prabhupada said, Lord Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. Means he is the cause of all causes. In the Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma writes, Ishvara Param Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karan Karanam. He is the cause of all causes, and there is no cause for him. So everything is coming from him. So he has different incarnations, but the source is Lord Krishna. He is like an original candle, and from him all the other candles are lit. And all the other candles look same. But the original candle is Lord Krishna himself. And those other candles look same, they all have same power, but they exhibited that much potency which is needed for that pastime. although they have same power, but they don't exhibit full potency, because what is needed, they possess, they at that time they display that much only. Another important point I found in this purport is that how Lord Krishna is independent. Prabhupada writes in the purport, the Lord is independent and desireless. Desireless. Nobody in this material world we see is independent. Whenever we do something, we are dependent on so many other things. Even to do a small task, a very small activity, we are dependent on multiple things. Nothing can be done independently. In Srimad Bhagavatam, first chapter, first canto, first chapter, first verse, Srila Vyasadeva in his Mangalacharan verse, first verse, he writes Krishna as absolute truth as Swarat. Swarat, fully independent. No dependency on anything. By just merely wishing, desiring, he can create everything. All these innumerable universes. For us to do something, we have to, even if we have to build some house, some small even furniture, we have to do so much of work, hard work. We see a manual, instructions we have to read. Oh, how to put this screw, how to put this. So many things we are dependent on. But Lord is independent, totally independent. And we, conditioned soul, we see we are dependent on so many things. And then, second point Prabhupada mentioned is he is desireless. No desire, is Atmaram, fully satisfied. Krishna is fully satisfied, no desire. We do all activities with some desire. If we build a house, we have a desire, oh, I will live in that house, if I will enjoy with my family in this house. Or if I go on vacation, I have a desire that, oh, I will see those things. I will be very happy when I go there. I will enjoy so much. So we all have desires with which we do activities. But Krishna is desireless. When he built all these, when he is all these universes which are coming from his bodily pores, is he doing with some personal desire? No. He's doing for our sake. Why? Because Prabhupada mentioned in the purport here only, I'm just going with the purport, that we have become against the Lord from time immemorial. Anadikal. There's no time, we don't even know from how long we have become against the Lord. Bahirmukh. In the many verses in the Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, we have seen that how we wanted to enjoy separately from Krishna. We have become Bahirmukh. We have become against Krishna from Anadikal. And that's why Lord gives us this facility. Okay, you want to enjoy separately from me? This is the material world. You can try, although the happiness here is not the real happiness. Prabhupada mentions here in the purport that living entity is desiring for illusory happiness, because there is no real happiness here. No matter how much we try, we are dissatisfied and looking for the next thing which can satisfy us. A person might wish for, okay, I want this big house. Then he gets the big house, and then that thing doesn't give him more happiness. Now he wants another thing. Then he gets another thing, the next thing. And that process keeps on going throughout the life. And there is never a satisfaction. Why there is no satisfaction? Because there is no real happiness in this material world. It's called illusory happiness. We feel that we are happy, but it's very momentarily. Very momentarily. So, no real happiness is there. So, Krishna is not giving not all these universes, material world, are not coming for his sake. He is giving us facility. You want to enjoy, you can try here. But at the same time, Krishna gives us full facility in the form of the scriptures, in the form of the acharyas, the pure devotees, he wants to bring us back to the spiritual world because he knows that we won't be happy here. So he gives us facilities by which we can come, but we are little reluctant. We are like the child. Parents are telling, but child doesn't want to listen, and child says, "I want to try, I want to try," and the child tries. And when at many times I said the children they want to try the things, and parents might be saying that okay, this is not good for you, but they want to try. And Krishna said, okay, you want to try? This is the facility to you, and you try. So this is one of the important point mentioned. And two other points which are mentioned here is that how that this material world is complete also. In Ishopnishad, there is a verse, invocation verse. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate. That how the Supreme Lord is complete, whole. And so many complete units are coming from him, and still he remains complete. We have never seen in this material world anything like this. Suppose I have $100, and if I give someone $10, I'm left with $90. One, if I subtract something, it reduces. But for Krishna, no matter how many things he creates, how many things are coming from him, he still remains a complete whole. For him, 1 minus 1 is also 1. For us, if we subtract 1 from 1, we get 0. But for Krishna, it's complete whole. And Krishna, whatever is coming, is complete in itself. So these universes which are coming has full facilities. Krishna has supplied everything for the maintenance of the living entities. We see when the child is born, we know the child cannot eat anything, child cannot take any outside food. Krishna makes the arrangement through the mother, and the mother gets the milk and child gets that milk. So Krishna, when the child is coming, Krishna makes that arrangement. So for every living entity, Krishna has made full arrangement in this material world for their sustenance. But what is happening? We see there is shortage of things. And what the modern scientists say, okay, there is increase in population. That's why we are suffering from this shortage, and people are dying or starving because of the shortage of food or thing. But actually, Krishna has supplied everything in ample quantity, full quantity, complete. There is no shortage. But the modern scientists, they claim that, oh, there's a shortage. But do we see any shortage in the animal kingdom? Are they dying because of the starvation or no? We have not seen. Mostly it's in human society. Although their number in count is greater than us, the human species. But still, human species, there is always a display, oh, population is increasing, population is increasing. That's why we are having this shortage. But actually, Prabhupada mentioned there is no shortage. Krishna has given everything in sufficient quantity for our sustenance. We see we have air, water, sunlight. Is there any ever shortage of these things? Every day from our time we are born, we are using these things. Do we pay any bill for them? Are we paying money for the sunlight? No. We are breathing air every second. Are we paying anything? No. Krishna has given everything for our sustenance in full quantity. But why there is a shortage? We see sometimes there is shortage, but what is the reason of the shortage? That is also mentioned in Ishopnishad, first verse of Ishopnishad. And that is the Ishavasam principle. That verse says, Ishavasam idam sarvam yatkincha jagatam jagat tena taktena bhunjita magradha kasya svidhanam. That every living entity has certain quota which is allotted to him. But what we are doing is that we are becoming greedy. And we are claiming proprietorship over things, false proprietorship. Although everything belongs to the Supreme Lord. He is the Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Bhagavad Gita says, Bhoktaram Yagatapsam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He is the Sarvaloka. He is the Lord of all creation. And everything belongs to him. He is the supreme proprietor. And we are claiming false proprietorship over all things. Everything. Okay, this belongs to mine. This is mine. This is my land. This is my country. This is my thing. And we try to collect more than necessary. We are trying to collect things more than whatever is needed for us and more than what is set for our quota. Sometimes we see there are some bird food on the ground. What the birds will do? They will take certain amount of seeds, that food, and they will fly away. Whatever is needed. They won't take the whole whatever is there. They just take whatever is needed for them. But human beings, what will they do? They try to grab out of greed. They try to take everything, and then one person will take more thing, and the less other person will say, okay, there's a shortage. Why? Because there is increase in population. But actually, there is a mismanagement. Prabhupada mentions in the purport, the real fact of is administrative mismanagement. And the reason they say is there is a shortage, there is an increase in population. They try to cover up their shortcoming with the saying that increase in population. But actually, the fact is not the increase in population, but the fault in administrative management. And the last line in this purport is a very important line. All the lines in Bhagavatam, each and every line is very important. But some statements, they strike us. And this line says, if there is any scarcity in this world, it is the scarcity of God consciousness. Otherwise, by the grace of the Lord, there is no scarcity of anything. This is the statement Srila Prabhupada mentions in many of his lectures, that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj used to quote this line, this statement. And Prabhupada said, I am just repeating what he said. So there is no scarcity in this material world. What is the scarcity? People are not following the instructions of the God. People are not God conscious. Rather than what are they conscious? They're conscious of their body. They're conscious of me and mine concept. Me, my family, my village, my country, my place. Me and mine. That is the consciousness of a living entity. And they're forgetting that how we, all living entities, and are the part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. We're coming from the Supreme Lord, who's our Father. And if we take shelter of the Father, if we go to our Father, all the problems in this material world, it can be any problem, all the problems will be solved. We are like a child, a rebellious child, who left his father's home with some reason. Oh, I want to enjoy separately. I want some freedom. I want to enjoy freely. So we left our father's home, and then we're looking here and there. Although father has everything, but we are exploring new ways of getting happiness. But there will be no happiness because we have left our father's home. And all of the attempts of getting happiness in this material world will all fail. And at the end, the death will come and will take everything, all our possessions, mrityu sarvaharascha, everything will be taken away. No matter or other, in the form of mrityu, Lord will be gone. So in this material world, the scarcity is of only God consciousness. And by associating with devotees, we can easily develop that consciousness very nicely, and we are getting this opportunity through this Zoom platform every day, every Sunday, and there are many other opportunities we can associate with devotees and develop God consciousness and go back to home to our real Father, Lord Shri Krishna. So that's all. That's all for today. With that, I will end my discussion. And if there are any corrections, if there is any um, realization, you can please share that now. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Lot of things you covered. And then, yes, this Dukkalayam Ashashvatam, this material land, we don't have anything. Like you said, when we go, we leave everything in behind. We say that this is our house, this is my house, this is beautiful, these are my clothes and jewelry, this, that. Nothing we will take. That fact, we know all that. Still we accumulate things. That is, I don't know, that is why Krishna does like that. Because I'm really always, I think that, see, we know that we don't take anything when we die. We don't take anything with us. Everything, I love this with my children, my family, my this, my house, my everything. And nothing will come. Nobody will come. We have to go alone. So that fact, we know that. Still, people, I don't know, in Maya. So we always, see things, this is mine, this is mine.
Yes.
That is really, I always think about that. So Krishna does these things and he is there for us, and that belief that, whatever it happens, Krishna is there. He will take care of me. I don't care for my family. I don't care for my house or anything. That realization we need to have.
Yes.
That is a real fact. That's all. Thank you very much for nice class.
Thank you, Mataji, for sharing your realization. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So, are there any other devotees who would like to share something?
Hare Krishna, Mother Revati.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you for a nice class today.
Hare Krishna.
I wanted to, so the point that you were mentioning about, you're quoting from the Sri Upanishad, how, everything is complete and Krishna has provided everything in this world in the proper proportions. And yes, the element of finding satisfaction in this world and not having to hanker and try to acquire more and more for our own happiness. Can you explain the thought process, that we should go through as devotees, as we're constantly, I guess, tempted, or our minds try to tell us, oh, if you just get this will make us happy. Or maybe, because philosophically we know, but still, living in this world, we're always presented with options of trying to acquire more in order to, but the goal of acquiring more ultimately is to try to find more satisfaction. And can you explain, I guess, just the mindset devotees should have, so that we don't, I guess, fall into this trap of materialism?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yeah, it's a very nice point. Like, as you said, like, theoretically we know, but practical application is where I'm saying about myself also, we fail sometimes. So theoretically, all these statements, like how we should be satisfied, we We should not hanker for more things. We know we are not this body, we are spirit soul. We read every day, but still we act on bodily platform. So how we can um, overcome this problem? That's the main thing. How we can overcome this problem, even though after knowing, after reading, after hearing so much, still we we are struggling with these things. This as here acquiring more and more things, thinking that we'll become happy. It's one of the problem that we are doing out of greed or all these things. The only thing that's coming to my the point that is coming to me right now is, if we associate with the devotees who have realized this point. So not everyone is like that. There are devotees who have realized this point and they are applying in their lives also. So if we take association from them, and because association, I feel like association is a very important factor in our bhakti life, because without association it's very difficult to do anything in our spiritual lives. So if we take association of those devotees who are able to do practice in their personal lives also all these concepts, and take advice from them, seek their association, take, if we are suffering from some all of these issues, we can open up in front of someone like we feel they can help us, and under their guidance, if we study scriptures and apply all those principles in our lives, there is some hope. I won't say there is no hope, but there is some hope if we take shelter of some devotees who are already practicing these points in their lives. They can help us, because alone sometimes we feel we read every day, but at the end of the day, we are not able to apply all these things. Or sometimes we are able to apply, sometimes we are not able to apply. So what to do? We can pray to Krishna. First of all, we can pray to Krishna and take help from the devotees who are able to practice these things. And then slowly, slowly, it's not a one-day process. Sometimes we feel, okay, one day we read, next day will be, all these things will be solved, and we are a pure devotee, will be able to practice everything. It doesn't happen in one day. It's a process we have to follow. We have to do our bhakti sincerely and associate with those devotees who are able to apply practically these principles in their lives also. So that will be really helpful for us. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah. So there might be some other perspective also. If anyone has, they can share. But that's what I feel right now. It's the best thing to do.
But thank you for elaborating on that, sharing that. It made me think of the term simple living, high thinking that Srila Prabhupada would use. And when you said associating with devotees, when I can remember when I'm around devotees who live very simple lives, actually they have very little problems. You know, the people that accumulate the most seem to have the most troubles in their lives. And it's counter to what we think in the material, and think I'm going to accumulate and that'll actually solve my problems. But the people, you know, the sadhus or devotees that really try to live simple, it's actually very attractive. And you can see that their anxieties are just so much less than, you know, ordinary people or even, you know, devotees that may accumulate, you know, so much. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so we have a hand raised from Mother Sita. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mother. Thank you so much for your class. Just your response to the question made me remember something about association and learning from it. And one example that I am not able to follow completely at all, actually, but maybe someone can benefit from it. Mother Sangeeta, what she does is every time she buys a sari, she gets rid of one. She buys a bag, she'll get rid of one. If she buys two of something, she gets rid of two of something. So I always admired that. If you go in her closet, there's 4 saris and 4 salwar kurtas and 4 skirts, and that's it. She will not make it 5. So when you said, from association we can learn, just reminded me of that. And I have not been able to practice it myself, but to an extent we can, it doesn't have to be 4 or 5, but we can at least look at the example and admire it. I guess the first step is to just at least recognize it. So that's all I wanted to share.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Like association, we underestimate, but it's very important for our bhakti life. Yeah, that's why when we do in association of devotees, it's very powerful. Whatever we do, reading, chanting, anything we do, any spiritual activity we do in association of devotees, it is very powerful. So association is the key of our bhakti life. Sadhu sang, that is very important. And so we should be hankering for the association all the time. We should be always hankering for the association and take it as much as possible. And I feel by mercy of Krishna and devotees, we'll be also able to apply all these principles in our life, and that will be really helpful. Hare Krishna. So I don't think so we have anyone else now. So we'll end for today. And are there any announcements, Dronacharya Prabhu?
Tomorrow is Ekadasi and Gita Jayanti. I know there was an email caused a little bit of confusion saying that Ekadasi is today, but it's actually tomorrow. A revised email went out. So we'll be reading Bhagavad Gita in its entirety at the temple tomorrow, starting at 5, English version, and then Sanskrit will be on Sunday at 1 o'clock before the Sunday feast. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for joining. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa patitanam
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Namo. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you.